We're going to be talking about some Scientology protest news. We're going to talk about the whole Ashton Kutcher, Diddy Combs, Masterson Scientology connection. We're also going to get into disturbing news out about Lisa Marie Presley's childhood abuse from her recent memoir. Hey, everybody, and welcome. Welcome. Hold on, this sounds funny to me, but I'm sure it's okay. But welcome. I'm Natalie. This is Scientology Life After a Cult. It's so great to see you guys here. We talk about all that good Scientology culty stuff. And of course, my 35 years in the cult and leaving with 3 generations of my family. I'm glad you guys are here for it. So good to see you in the chat. Thank you so much to the members for being here. Your support for the channel means everything, and it does help a ton. So if you're interested in supporting the channel as a member, there's a link down below for memberships. And also you can just click on the membership link on my YouTube channel as well. Thank you, everybody. Big thank you to the moderators for being here. And I want to give a big happy Thanksgiving to all of our friends in Canada. Happy Thanksgiving. I cannot wait to see how many of you are celebrating and how you do it. This was actually news to me. I just recently found out that there was a Thanksgiving in Canada. I had this vague recollection that I heard about it before, but could not quite recall the details. But happy Thanksgiving to everybody who's celebrating that in Canada. All right, everybody. I love seeing the alohas. Thank you very much. Arkansas Flamingo says, aloha, funny Natalie. I love your humor each weekend. Yes, I didn't do a recap over the weekend. I was feeling the funny bug, and I'm glad that you guys enjoy that because it's interesting. You've all gotten to know me going through a very difficult time of my life. And as I start to find my way again, I think I'm starting to remember like, oh, I love humor. I mean, I think you know that, but I'm kind of taking it to the next level and going with it because I need that. And hopefully you guys are here for it and enjoying it. You can go check out my shorts. I did a few over the weekend, and I'm going to share a clip from another video that I did. We're going to get to that in a little bit, as well as this, a lot of disturbing news today. But let's start with something that, might shock you, might not. But did you know, okay, so last week was World Mental Health Day. It was on, I believe, October 10th, which, if I'm remembering correctly, I think was on a Thursday. So here's the thing, though. Scientology hosted a World Mental Health celebration. I don't know what you'd call it. Audit LA shared this. Let's take a look at this. This is actually today. So World Mental Health Day was last week, but they're doing an open house. Starts at 6 o'clock with coffee and refreshments in celebration of World Mental Health Day, Citizens Commission on Human Rights open house event. So this is at the Cult of Scientology of the Valley. And you guys know Citizen Commissions on Human Rights is a Scientology front group fighting to end psychiatry and legitimate forms of mental health treatment. So how Scientology can be so bold to celebrate World Mental Health Day like that, I don't know. It's just beyond me. I don't get it. Do you guys get it? Is there something I'm not getting? I don't think so. I think it's just nutty that they're doing it. Me and Taz, it's nice seeing having a good time, Natalie. Thank you. I appreciate that. Karen, you had me in stitches yesterday. Well, be prepared because there is more to come. So much more to come. Okay, now, if we can all kind of just move on a little bit from the idea. It's still kind of sticking in my brain. Like, wait, Scientology, what? Scientology is doing something for World Mental Health Day. The same people who are all down with psychiatry and valid forms of mental health treatment. Ugh, I don't know. Okay. This bothers me more though. We're going to look at this. So a lot in the news right now, we're hearing, I feel like we're just starting to scratch the surface with Ashton Kutcher, Diddy Combs, and Danny Masterson, and Scientology connections being thrown in there. Well, right now, there's big news about how Mila Kunis shocks fans by ending relationship as Ashton Kutcher cries openly. Now, you never know for sure when you see these things like, right, is it true? Are they really breaking up? I don't know. But what's becoming more evident is a pattern of behavior with Ashton Kutcher in his relationship with Danny Masterson and then Diddy. And these things are really coming out hot and heavy. Let's look at this clip.
People thought Mila and Ashton were Hollywood's power couple, standing strong even during the Danny Masterson trial. Remember the backlash for supporting their co-star? They took it head on, but clearly the cracks were already there. Add in the drama of Diddy's arrest, and it's no wonder Mila decided to pack her bags. As fun as Ashton's frat boy antics seemed, they were dragging his rep through the mud after Masterson's fallout. It hit his work with children advocacy initiatives. Hard stepping down from his top gig at Thorne raised more than just eyebrows.
Remember that when he stepped down from Thorne after the whole thing with Danny Masterson, and he and Mila, of course, wrote letters of support to the judge for Danny Masterson after he was convicted and now sits in prison where he belongs, hopefully until the end of time, or at least his time. I guess we shall see. But putting all that together and then having things come out more and more with his involvement with Diddy and these parties and what was happening, and it really is starting to paint a giant picture, I think, that is becoming evident to many of us that this predatory behavior has been going on for such a long time from the beginning. And I think we're going to learn and maybe be surprised, maybe not be surprised by more that comes out, not just in the entertainment community, but maybe even in the world of Scientology celebrities and who knew what, when, was this behavior taken from one group and brought over here or the other way around? It's all just really gross, to be honest, but I'm keeping an eye on it to just see how much of his involvement with Scientology or other Scientologists play into this. But it is absolutely gross. But that's what's happening with that. Now we're going to take a look at something. Did you guys know that back in the day, gather around for a back in the day, back in my day, you could write letters to L. Ron Hubbard and he would answer. And you're like, Natalie, why do you say he like that? Well, because there were people who answered for him. But at the time, we all thought like, oh my gosh, L. Ron Hubbard is so powerful. He is such an operating thetan that he can keep track of all of these letters and answer our letters personally. He's just that amazing of an operating thetan. When I was a child, I used to write letters to L. Ron Hubbard and get letters back. And I assumed, of course, they were from Ron because they were signed Ron. But now, knowing what I know today, I'm kind of rethinking all of that. But there was a letter that surfaced on the social media and was shared by someone. This is from a young Scientologist group on Facebook. My mom, who was on Sydney Day at the time, wrote to Ron in 85, and this was his response. So as you know, this is what's important to note here as we read this. L. Ron Hubbard died in January of 1986. And he was a hot mess. We're going to look at a little something that's going to fill you in on the shape he would have been in November of 1985, okay, when this letter was written. Dear Lindy, I'm doing well and I'm working on levels above operating thetan 15. OT 15. It's good to hear about you. Will you be through your full hat soon? Okay, first, a full hat in Scientology is a course that somebody does that tells them exactly how to do their job. Their job is their hat. So a full hat would be the full course you need in order to do your job. So she was a staff member then, so it makes sense, they'd be talking about that. But this line here, I'm working on levels above OT 15. I don't think so, L. Ron Hubbard. In 15 November 1985, you would have been in the shape to be doing anything like that. Because take a look at this. I'm going to share with you an article this was the man behind the religion. This came out a while ago, but listen to this. While Hubbard was underground, the IRS launched a criminal probe of his finances, but the investigation would soon be without a target and ultimately abandoned. By late 1985, Hubbard's directives to underlings had tapered off. Why did they taper off? Because L. Ron Hubbard was a hot mess and having serious mental issues. At age 74, he no longer resembled the robust and natty man whose dated photographs fill Scientology's promotional literature. Living in isolation, separated from his devoted followers, he had let himself go. Okay, that's November 1985. So how could L. Ron Hubbard write a letter in November 1985 being all like, I'm working on operating Thetan level 15 and beyond? No, 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 no. These were letters that were answered for him even beyond the point from when he was incapacitated and could not do it on his own. His thin gray hair with streaks of old red hung without sheen to his shoulders. He had grown a stringy, unkept beard and mustache. His round face was now sunken, and his ruddy complexion had turned pasty. He was an old man, and he was nearing death. So again, how would he be walking around answering letters, let alone working on operating Thetan level 15 in that state? He didn't. He wasn't. But it shows you that is part of the lie that's been stringing along Scientologists for so many years, that they're going to be more. Right now, as exists in Scientology on their bridge to total freedom, they can get up through operating Thetan level 8, and that's it. But there's promises of 9 and 10, and they just don't exist. And definitely this OT15 doesn't exist. So it's ridiculous. Eric Rader says OT23 equals operating Thetan level Air Jordan. Yeah, we may as well make it up right now. OT 9 and 10, it should be like operating Thetan powers where you can communicate with aliens and chairs and ashtrays. I don't know. They make it up as they go along. Okay, now let's jump over to Sins of Scientology, because you guys, they dropped a new episode and it is good. This one is about the Sea Organization's Rehabilitation Project Force. Give this a listen.
Imagine being cut off from everything you know, your family, your friends, the outside world, forced into grueling labor, all under the belief that it's for your own spiritual salvation. They call it the Rehabilitation Project Force, or RPF, but what really goes on inside? And why are so many former members haunted by its very mention? The truth lies in the shadows of the organization, where redemption, control, and something far more sinister intersect. What secrets are kept within the RPF's walls, and why does the Church of Scientology go to such lengths to hide it from public view?
Exactly. I'm so glad that they are doing this. This is a great one. Go ahead and check it out. When I'm done with this live stream, I'm going to link below every article, every video we're taking a look at, so you can check them all out for yourself in their entirety. And looks like Catherine already listened to it. Great episode. Yes, it's fabulous. It's so good. I love them. That's Sandy McKenna and Abraham Ulrich who are doing it. Sins of Scientology. It's fantastic. If you're not already following them, do. They have a lot of other episodes you can catch up on. If you're new to it, it's such a great resource too for people who want to learn about Scientology and what really is going on, but also in a way that might scare you because it should, because it's scary. That's the whole thing. That's the whole point. So if it disturbs and frightens you when you hear this, that would be the appropriate response to it, because it is. David Bruce says the Rehabilitation Project Force sounds a wee bit like re-education. Exactly. It is. It is re-education. It is reprogramming. It's where Sea Organization members who either want to leave or they committed a crime like having sex with somebody out of marriage. I mean, that'll get you on the Rehabilitation Project Force. Falling out of favor with David Miscavige, that will get you on the Rehabilitation Project Force. So go ahead and check out that episode. It's a really good one to learn about that. Now, we talked about this a little bit before. The SP Chef here on YouTube has been doing the ABCs of Scientology, and he dropped B. So take a look at this, and then I hope you guys are going to go ahead and check him out.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Let's learn about Scientology. All the words and strange definitions to make normal terms seem far more malicious. Hubbard laid a clever trap, but in the end it's a whole bunch of crap. Hello there, darlings. My name is Samuel, aka the SP Chef. I'm an ex-Scientologist. I grew up within Scientology as a child, and when I was 13 years old, I joined the elite group within Scientology called the C Organization.
I'm going to link that down below so you can check it out. He's on B, he's done A already, and he's going through and defining all these Scientology definitions. Again, a very good resource for anybody that is new to the world of exposing Scientology and you're wondering, what's this? What's that? You're kind of getting all caught up on the lingo and the language because if you don't know, Scientology has their own language in ways. They created their own words so that they could further control people. It's all part of being a cult and having that cult mentality. Vanessa says, they tried to send me to the RPF. I said, oh, hell no. No beach, my ass per policy. Oh, beach, I get it. So kick you out per policy. Yes. No kidding. That is a big thing. I know when I was in the C Organization, it was all about avoiding going to the RPF, not taking certain positions if I could help it, because I knew where that would lead. It would lead to the Rehabilitation Project Force. All senior positions in Scientology seem to lead to the Rehabilitation Project Force. And I was just not down with that. Mayor's Girl, yes, I love the jingle too. He's so creative. I love it. But that's the SP Chef. Make sure you check him out. Now, you guys, we've talked about these vaults, the secret vaults of Scientology, and how they take the words, the teachings of L. Ron Hubbard, and they put them on acid-free paper, not paper with acid. Don't get it confused. It's not that kind of party. Acid-free paper on these metal discs, and they stash them away in these vaults where it's controlled so that they're not all going to fall apart anytime soon, because they all get locked in the secret vault in case of the apocalypse. I don't know, be it alien, zombie. I'm not sure exactly what type of apocalypse, but people can go and resurrect the teachings of L. Ron Hubbard. Guess what, you guys? We have a look at what that actually looks like. This is over on Mike Rinder's blog. So this is the Church of Spiritual Technology, which is Scientology. It is Scientology. It's the Scientology entity tasked with building these vaults, building these homes for L. Ron Hubbard at 4 different locations so that, apparently he's coming back. I don't know. I hear mixed things. So look at this. This is an example of that acid-free paper. This was given to Scientologists on one of the maiden voyage event celebrations on the ship. Look at this. Ron's Journal 39. The vault also includes a crank like record player like thing so you can play these. Because you might be thinking, Natalie, wait a minute. There's not going to be any electricity long after the zombie apocalypse. Well, there's going to be a crank, I don't know what you would call it, record player. And again, here's a policy letter by L. Ron Hubbard on these metal titanium discs. So can you imagine coming across this cache at one point and thinking maybe you find supplies, maybe food, maybe medical things, right? And you're like, oh, look at that. It looks like a vault hidden in the mountain. Let's get in there because it's the apocalypse. Maybe there's medical supplies and food and all of the things. And you get in there and no, it's a bunch of L. Ron Hubbard Scientology word salad that you find while you're scrounging for food and supplies. So is it surprising that Scientology prepares for the apocalypse by preserving L. Ron Hubbard and Scientology information rather than things that might actually help people? No, it is not. It is so on brand for them. And they make money doing this to raise money for these discs and all of that Scientology puts in these vaults. They sell Scientologists prints and books and special edition things for thousands and thousands of dollars to raise money for this, or people do straight donations. It is so gross, but you know what? They exist. They're there. I guess we'll have to see what happens. I asked somebody once who used to work for them and left, how do people get into the vaults if they're so secure and locked once the apocalypse happens? And there was no answer for that. I've not heard that from Scientology. Are you just assuming that the Scientologists on duty there will somehow survive whatever it is? I don't know. There's a lot of loose ends there that need to be tied up. Absolutely. Okay, now that's enough of that metal titanium discs. Let's go take a look. In LA, in Hollywood, Scientology was out recruiting at an event, and actually multiple people caught them there. And there was this one interaction with this Scientologist. I don't know if he's a staff member. He's kind of got a Sea Org member vibe, but I don't know. This is from City of Angels, LA 1. Let's take a look at what happened. You see him walking out? Watch this. Watch this. Oh, he's so serious.
Here's the reason you're recording us.
Can you leave me alone? Can you leave me alone?
So he's basically, is there a reason you're recording us? And the person live streaming is like, can you leave me alone? Like, can you like back off? And then he just goes back to his booth there, unsuccessful in getting him to stop to, you know, I mean, what really happened there? It's almost like this guy, I mean, just look how determined, although it is giving a little Nick Jonas. I felt like when I first saw him, I was like, is that Nick Jonas? Like, no, that wouldn't make any sense. I'm not sure why that even popped into my head, but it did. So they're out there doing this. There is Cuts E was out there as well. So we have another look at what was happening when he was calling them out. And I know this is going to shock you, but the LAPD was of no help at all there. So here you can see where the Dianetics table is, and you can see the person handing out the flyers. And Cutsy is saying, hey, this is a cult. It's a cult. It's a cult. Why are you guys just letting this cult be there? And right there, the same spot that the other live streamer was going ahead and sharing. And, you know, Scientology signs up for these things and they just go and do it. I guess they're just, you know, and they're in an area where they've done a lot of what's called safe pointing in Scientology, where they associate themselves with legitimate groups or people doing things and then try to claim that clout, basically. I'm not sure that there are more extreme ways of clout chasing than Scientology does. I really don't. These are the people who will provide a venue for a legitimate organization helping people because their organizations are empty, and they're like, hey, come over to our event space. Nothing is happening here. Nobody is here. And then they claim, they do a press release saying that they did the event, that they brought those people together, that they did all that. It's so on brand for Scientology. This is what they do. They are just massively clout chasers. Now, Scientology audit, Streets LA was out in Hollywood, and you're not going to believe what he saw. The Hollywood Testing Center actually had their doors open. You guys, we have not seen this in ages. And the fact that William Good busted them there just makes it so much more sweet. Check this out.
Hi, how you guys doing? And Toucan, what are you doing? What are you guys doing? How you doing?
Did you see her face? We just got to rewind that a little bit. You watch her face.
How you guys doing? And Toucan, what are you doing? What are you guys doing? How you doing? I haven't seen you guys in a long time. Oh, that's so rude. How you gonna close the door on me? That's so rude. That's right, pack it up.
One more time, because it's so funny to me.
Hi.
The face.
How you guys doing?
She's like, oh no. Oh man, here we go again. Yeah, you best keep those doors closed. Yep. Aloha, Susan. Thank you so much for being here. That's right, Jess. It's a good day. It absolutely is. I am dying to know what's going to happen with Winter Wonderland. What is going to happen? Are they doing it? I can't imagine Scientology not doing it. Does it matter to you? Good to see you. Nope. No good allowed here. Wendy City says, good news. You still can't open your test center. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's go take a look now at Sacramento, because Kelly was out in Sacramento. I don't know about you guys, but when I see videos of Scientology in Sacramento, I don't know what it is. It seems it's got next level creep level, and I don't know why. It could just be me. I don't know. But take a look at this. Let's watch Kelly for a little bit.
It's not okay for people in the Sea Org or staff to be working until they're 80 or 90 years old. It's not okay. It's inhumane. You're detached from humanity. You think you're saving humanity, but you're so detached.
That is such a great way to put it. There is detachment. There's disassociation. And maybe what's creepy too is the way they just have everything so covered up like that. It's really giving Jehovah's Witness. You know how they don't have windows at their places of worship, or at least the ones I've seen have not. It's creepy. It just creeps me out. So Kelly shares something with them that Scientology might find very disturbing, because something happened recently and I shared it with you guys, and I'm going to share a clip from that video because things are changing when it comes to Scientology and their origin story. And Kelly let Scientology know this, but I want to give you the backstory before we look at her next clip, because you guys have heard a lot about Scientology, how it came to be. You've heard about Xenu and you've heard about body thetans, but you guys, there's some false information out there. And due to my new relationship that I announced this weekend, I'm going to be sharing more about it. So first we got to look at this clip with me. Then I'm going to show you a clip with Kelly that then will make more sense. So if you missed this, I will link it down below. You should see the whole video because you guys should be happy for me in my new relationship. Check it out. Anyways, so Xenu and I, it's new in our relationship, but I feel like we're pretty much connected. And like I can share this with you guys. You know, we're to that point where I just realized that we're committed and we're in love. And, you know, sure, Xenu, back in the day, he was a galactic overlord. And sure, there was overpopulation on multiple planets. And okay, maybe Xenu did gather up a bunch of people, freeze them in ice cubes, send them to Earth, and blow them up in volcanoes. But you guys got to move beyond it. Sometimes there just has to be forgiveness and grace. And Xenu, we've talked about this. He said, you know what? He didn't really understand the consequences of what was going to happen. And he's done his time. He has done his time. He was in the electrical cage being kept there by Scientology. And, you know, he's free now. And he's a new person. Eat more pizza. I know you get it. I know you get it, right? Boxer Heather backed me up on this. Yeah. And Xenu's willing to, you know, move to Minnesota for me. That's huge. That's huge. That's really huge. So after I announced my relationship with Xenu, it sent shockwaves across the Scientology community, because Scientology has been putting out this narrative forever that Xenu did all these bad things. And I'm kind of like, you know what? If Scientology is telling me someone is bad, I don't trust it. I don't trust it. Miyamo, if we go the route of marriage, which I'm not totally convinced of yet, we are absolutely going to honeymoon in Hawaii. But I'm going to be sharing with you guys the truth of what really happened with Xenu. He wants to tell his story. He does communicate with me telepathically, so I'm going to be sharing that. So tune in for that. Meantime, Kelly over in San Francisco let them know the truth. So word is out. Scientology is now going to know about my new relationship.
I have bad news. Natalie Webster, ex-Scientologist, is now in a romantic fling with Xenu. I'm sorry, but I think she converted him. Xenu is no longer working for your side. We saw it earlier. It's breaking news.
Kelly sharing the secret, not so secret. I don't know how Scientology is going to respond to this, because it is a story they've told for a long time and they've had their narrative for a long time. And I just think that it is time that the truth actually came out about Xenu and that whole story. And being that I'm getting it as a firsthand account, I'm going to be sharing more of that with you guys. So keep an eye. Make sure you like this video and you hit subscribe and set your notification bell to all for when I start breaking Xenu news, because it is coming, you guys. It is coming and you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss out. So everybody go over, check that subscribe button, because stuff is about to get real. Okay, let's go over to Chicago now. Everybody get on the Aloha-tology plane. Let's fly over and let's go see Windy City Thetan Watch. I've not seen him in a hot minute. Okay, Frustrating Scientology in Chicago. That pretty much should be the name of his channel, because he's been doing a great job out there being like, hey, what's happening? Why are you culty? It's a cult. Stay away from the cult. Did you know that propaganda in your hand is about a cult? Let's take a look at a clip.
You know, this is a human trafficking cult, right?
Now, let's talk about what's happening here, because this is just the most amazing thing ever. You might be thinking, oh my God, Natalie, are people lined up to get into Scientology? What's happening? Is this for real? No, this is Scientology doing a video or some photos, trying to make it look like people are lined up to get into Scientology. And who shows up at the perfect time? Windy City Thetan Watch. Once again, win for Wendy. Check this out, you guys. I love how dude here is just trying to completely ignore Wendy. If I act like I don't see him, maybe he'll go away. Maybe they're practicing 6 feet apart. Are they doing that again? I don't know. Could that be it? Oh, look at that. Look at that. They have spotted Wendy now.
This is nothing but a human trafficking cult.
I like the solid colors. They usually do tell you if you're going to be in a Scientology video that they like you to wear the solid colors. And action.
Jeff.
Come on, everybody. Come on in. Let's look happy. Let's look lively. We're just going to shut the doors because there's a suppressive person outside. Oh, I'll get it. I'll get it. Let me get it. Let me get it. I'm going to put the camera down for a minute. Yeah, don't make eye contact. Don't make eye contact with Wendy. Nope. Shut the doors. Go. Run. Save yourself. Save yourself. Okay, get that girl in there too then maybe. All right. Yeah. Oh, she whipped around that corner. Once again, win for Windy City Thetan Watch and loss for Scientology. Oh, yeah, Lisa, he's got those Xenu eyes. Xenu eyes. Hey, MD Media, good to see you. Oh yeah, Miyamo, no contact. It's like, you know what? People who are antagonistic to Scientology, it's like, what's her name? Medusa. You don't want to look. You don't want to make eye contact. You might turn to stone. They might telepathically tell you the Xenu story. So Scientologists will go out of their way. They are educated to do that, to run, which is very ironic because every single Scientologist does a course called the Potential Trouble Source course, how to confront and shatter suppression. I don't know. Sometimes people do it. I've known people who have done this course like 3-4 times. It's ridiculous. And yes, they do have to pay for it every single time. They do. It's so dumb. Yet where's the confronting, let alone the shattering? To me, the only confront and shatter happening over there in Chicago is when the protesters show up and confront and shatter. I think the confronting and shattering caused by the protesters for Scientology might be causing some serious anxiety on their end, which they are not going to, acknowledge that because they don't believe in mental health. They don't believe in that. You can be anxious, but there's no such thing as having anxiety, if that makes sense. Yeah, definitely no such thing as bipolar. Nope, definitely not in Scientology. Hey, KP, how is the romantic fling relationship with Xenu going? It's going good. It's still new. We just touched on it a little bit. I'm going to be telling you guys more about it. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that. Yes, Jess, y'all flunked bull baiting 101. I know it blows my mind every single time. Paralyzed to paralyzed. They're making propaganda about how busy Chicago is. They are, but do you see what they do? It's all fake. It's all fake. When I was in Scientology, sitting there at these propaganda events, and what are the ones coming up? The International Association of Scientologists event is coming up. It's going to be live in England at East Grinstead, and I cannot wait to see what live streamers and protesters are going to do out there with that, because it was a mess for Scientology last year. It truly was. It really was. Hey, Scientology up north, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so let's see. I think I have another from Wendy. Let's take a look at what else happened with Scientology in Chicago.
Just so you understand, it's a human trafficking cult. It's a human trafficking cult.
This is what?
It's a human trafficking cult. So,
I'm not a member.
okay. But you're going to support them anyway?
So she's saying she's not a member. Well, I'm not a member. But, and then I love his next line. You're going to support them anyways? So her grandson is there. So she's not a member of the human trafficking cult. Her grandson is. And I don't know, how old is your grandson? Because
So,
I look at, she's like, yeah, no, I'm not a member, just my grandson. My grandson is in a human trafficking cult. Not me, you silly.
so her grandson's here, right? And is her grandson here supporting the cult of Scientology?
You know, and she goes over to the other door, which makes me think she's been there before because, you know, Scientologists in Chicago often go to that other door and they get let in. I hope you're there with bags to break out your grandson from this human trafficking cult, because when you hear it's a human trafficking cult and your response is, oh, no, I'm not in it. I'm not in it. No, my grandson is in the human trafficking cult. Yeah, that's right. No, you better be there to break him out. I mean, what's going on with that? It's just weird. But you're right. Eyes to see. Totally. She probably knew if she talked to you, she would be cut off from her grandson. That's my suspicion. Yeah, she probably does know that. I'm curious, though, how'd she know about the other door if she's not a member and she's not there? We will just have to ponder on that one. For now, though, we got to head over to Boston. Let's go over to Boston and take a look at Cubs champion. He was out there educating some kids on Scientology and why they need to be careful and not get involved with it.
So what they do is they'll get people in with that. They'll give you the results. They always tell people that you're depressed. You don't know how to communicate, and they come up with a third thing, and that Scientology will help you. And what they'll do is they'll put you in like
all about it.
They have like 8 or 10 small courses that are $50. So that's how they get people to the $50. So some people are like, oh, $50. And usually the first course is communication. So say you don't know how to talk like in public or like in school, it might help you. Honestly, I don't know. I've never done it, but it could help you. So people do those small courses and it helps them. And then they move on to bigger courses that are.
That's right. And the bigger courses cost more and more money. And the time commitment becomes more and more. And next thing you know, you went from a $50 course to a $500 to a $5,000 to a $50,000. It just goes on and on. The higher you go up in Scientology, the more it costs, because you're not just pay to play on Scientology as a religion itself to do services to receive their counseling, but you are also pressured to support all of the different Scientology front groups. It's a lot. It's a lot for Scientologists. It really is. Okay, so let's now go over to Clearwater. As you guys know, Hurricane Milton just went through. There are still so many people without power. There are so many people cleaning up. There's just a lot going on. We've been in touch with our friends there, and they're doing all right and doing what they can to help other people in their community. Well, George, surrounded by Scientology, thought he would go over and go, hey, volunteer ministers here in Clearwater at your office, we need help. There's people without power. Can you help us? Let's look and see what happened.
We have people without power. We have people without food and water. Your lights are on here. Please help us. Please. Okay. Here comes somebody. She's pushing him out of the way. Oh, she either put her yellow shirt away or didn't put it on yet. Okay. Gosh, I mean, I hate to trap these people here, but they do have power, unlike 500,000 people in Pinellas County. So what do we do?
So instead of coming out to help, there were multiple people. And again, the whole video for George is going to be linked down below so you can see it. Just like popping out and hiding. It's just like they would just like pop up like moles and be like, oh, he's still there. And it looks like they're doing something. This is one of the offices in Clearwater that is normally empty and nobody's there. But with all this disaster going on and the fact that they have power, it's like, George just is trying to find out what's up with the help here. What help can we get? And, shockingly and surprisingly, nobody was trying to help there and show up. Yep, Arkansas Flamingo. George is freaking amazing. I would agree. He has been helping so many people, friends all over the area there. It's been amazing. I talked to him the other day, and he's just been going nonstop. I think what he's doing is fantastic. And it would be nice if Scientology would do more to help out in their neighborhood instead of just, do whatever it is they're doing, which doesn't seem to be actually helping people. Seems like this would be a good time to do that. But what Scientology usually does when there is a natural disaster, in that natural disaster or afterward, Scientology will show up and hand you their Way to Happiness books. Because when you have, no place to live, no food and water, of course, a common sense moral guide is top of your list of something that would be helpful. No, how about get out there and maybe hand out some water, battery packs? Maybe, you can go around with those larger battery packs just so people can charge their phones and things, and you can move it around. There's just so many things. And George and others are out there doing so much to help people. But Scientology, you just need to get with the program. Okay, speaking of funny, did you guys see Ferell Cheryl's clip? Her short where she's up the butt of Aaron of growing up in Scientology. It's so funny. When she was doing the Arontology videos before, I thought that was absolutely hilarious. And this just had me in stitches. Hopefully you guys will find it funny as well. Ferell Cheryl is hilarious. Let's take a look at this.
Hey, Aaron, it's just me up in your ass again. It's moist in here. I like what you did, though, since the hurricane. I like what you did with the place. It looks very nice. Oh, I found my hair scrunchie. Was looking for that. Oh, you left me a whole key lime pie in here. That's what a narcissist. Anyway, all right. I'm ready. You ready for the, give me the orders of the day? Let's go.
Oh, she's just so funny. It just cracked me up. Did you guys see it? Okay, you did. All right, good. Yeah, she's amazing. I just laughed and laughed and laughed. I'm glad you guys did too. Oh no. Yep, love Ferell Cheryl. She is hilarious, right, Boxer Heather? Right? I know, I can't. Especially with the background, the way she had it with the pink like that. Just where do you even get that? Oh, she's fantastic. James Steele says, Auntie Ferell Cheryl is my inspiration. Oh, that's cute, James. And you have such a great sense of humor that you share with us too here in the chat. You guys got to look for it. Usually in the chat, James Steele will share at least one what sounds mostly like dad jokes, but they are funny. Yes, Marilyn, great to see you. Yep, Cheryl is a legend. She truly is. It's hilarious. Hey, Church of Satirology. I've been wondering where you've been. We met the other day on one of my lives. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Hermine, she is. She's hilarious. I just love the humor. Love the humor. Okay, moving on here. Let's jump over to Kansas City, where Dodge Landisman, who we usually see out in Los Angeles, was in Kansas City covering a different case, but he went over to Scientology Kansas City and hung out with Auditing Scientology KC, which is Mike. You see him out there usually on Thursdays with Z News. They're out there on Thursday, which is supposed to be Scientology's busiest day of the week, and it's usually nothing but crickets, nothing much really happening there. And they're out there on the first Friday of the month, sometimes too, because there's a community event that goes on. But it was neat to see Dodge out there. It was like universes. It's like, you know how there's like the Marvel verse, right? And then when there's crossover of characters, what would we call it? What is it called here in the Exposing Scientology universe? The SPTV verse, I guess. I don't know what you would call it, but somebody's got to call it something. But he was out there with the dog. Let's just look at a little clip.
Oh, I love that. Look at that. Huh. Here's about Scientology. It's a cult that abuses kids. I love that. Yeah. Well done.
So, but it doesn't hold up too well in the wind.
Yeah, I reckon.
I think Mike there had a sign, but I love that he had the dog out there. Great shirt too, Dodge. That looks like it could be vintage. I like it. But that was neat to see. I'm going to link the whole video down below so you can actually go ahead and see the whole thing. Now, let's go take a look at Etwala, aka Brigitte. She sat down and did an interview. And by the way, we talked about her yesterday. She's doing a channel where she's going to be able to, she's going to do content in French as well, which I think is fantastic, because the more people doing different channels, even in different languages, the more people can be reached about Scientology and that it's a human trafficking cult. Absolutely. Don Glove says that Dodge is a snazzy dresser. I like the shirt though. I really do. I like it. I like it. Okay, so let's get over to, let's look at that clip. She had the SP chef and L. Ron Hub cult on. This was fantastic. We're just going to look at a little snippet.
Which I would make during the day, and in the evening, when the SIUG members would come back from a day's work, we would sell it to them. Again, a piece of cake, 50 pence, pancake, 60 pence, or whatever it was, something like that.
Yeah.
And that way we could generate an income. And with that income, we were able to give ourselves a tiny little pocket money, as well as be able to buy uniform. And then we had also proper uniforms and things like that. So that's what I did basically during my time in the Karedok.
Now, if you have not heard, and even if you have heard the SP chef story of being a child in the Sea Org, you need to hear it. It's a good one. And L. Ron Hub cult gets into his story as well. So go ahead and check out that video, because you can find out a lot of the background about two people who you might be already following and really like, that are out there exposing Scientology. Oh, and L. Ron Hub cult is right here. There you are. Hello. Hello, hello. Okay, now let's jump topics here for a bit, because I don't know about this. So, okay, first off, so as you guys know, Tom Cruise has a penthouse nearby Flag in Clearwater at the Flag land base, so he can be close to all of the L. Ron Hubbard and all of the superpowers and running around a pole and all of the things. So apparently Tom Cruise has been in England living there for the last 5 years. Did anybody notice? I didn't. I mean, I knew he was there multiple times, but there's multiple news outlets now saying that, Tom Cruise is moving back to the United States, moving back to Clearwater to be there for his son, Connor. Okay. Does he have a son, Connor? Yes. Does Connor live in the Clearwater area? Yes. Is Tom Cruise moving back after 5 years to the United States to be closer to his son? Do we believe that for 5 minutes? For a hot minute? You tell me. You tell me. And there's like multiple stories. So this really multiple outlets, I should say, that covered this. It really feels like one of those, don't look at Suri Cruise over here and what's happening. Look at that. Tom Cruise was in the United Kingdom for 5 years and also visited his daughter Bella during that time. And now he's moving back to be near his son, Connor. I don't think you guys are buying it. Susan Everett is not buying it. That's for sure. But apparently Tom Cruise returns to America after 5 years in UK, where he became pals with Prince William and Kate. What? So I think we're also going to be hearing more about that. But apparently Tom Cruise is bidding farewell to the UK after living there for 5 years, something that I know, like, you think I would have known that. But Tom Cruise and I have a love-hate relationship. I'm sure he feels as confused about it as I do. Insiders are claiming he made the decision to return home in a bid to spend more time with family, including his son, Connor, 29, who lives in Florida. I don't know, really. Now, Connor did go to the UK a few times while he was there to see him and hang out. I don't know, but, Bridge 1872 is saying Florida is closed. We don't want Tom Cruise. Yeah, Lisa Pete, he's jealous of Xenu. You know he is, especially since Xenu and I hooked up. It's just a game changer. It really is. Anna, did his visa run out? That's the thing, why he probably went back and forth, because he couldn't just stay there nonstop. Constance is saying my guess would be for tax reasons. Yeah, but isn't it interesting how it gets twisted into, it's for his son. It's for his son. I mean, you know what? He's been there like making friends with Prince William and Kate, which immediately makes me go, People close to Prince William and Kate need to make sure they get educated about Scientology, because it does look like Tom Cruise has been trying to claw his way into the royal family to convert them into being Scientologists. Because let's be real, Tom Cruise does not make friends unless there's an end to those means. There's a use for it. He is a hardcore Scientologist. I only recently, despite the fact that I've been out of Scientology for 14 years, I only recently started realizing, like, wait a minute, it's okay to do things that are just fun, that have no purpose, that don't check a box for a statistic, that it's just enjoyable to do. But Tom Cruise is still very much in that mindset. Any relationship he gets or fosters is with the intention of trying to move the needle forward for Scientology. So it is not just, oh, we made friends, I made friends, I'm making friends with the royal family. No, there is much more to it than that. Mia Mo says, though, nope, I don't believe for a second they are friends. That's true. Does it matter to you? A photo op doesn't mean friends, but I don't know. Apparently there's been some time spent together. I don't know. We shall see. Tom Cruise has tried to recruit many people. Beckham and his wife. Many people, and it just doesn't seem to work. He tries to recruit people by dating them. That doesn't seem to work, because it seems like anybody he definitely marries turns out to be a suppressive person. So either in Scientology's eyes, does Tom Cruise have a type? Is he attracted to suppressive women, or does he make them that way? Is he a crazy making machine? My money is on the latter. That's what I think. Paralyzed to Paralyzed says, I think TC's not well. Well, if you're that hardcore in Scientology, you're not well to some degree. Definitely. Okie dokie. Susan says, I'm hoping that they gave him the boot. Yeah, exactly. And you're right. With a picture with somebody does not mean that you are friends. So it could be a reach, but I don't know. I wouldn't put it past him. That's the whole goal. That's why celebrities exist in Scientology and why they're so supported, so that they can go out and make all these connections in the world and spread Scientology. Okay, let's take a look now. Let's talk about this Lisa Marie Presley thing. I'm listening. In fact, I'm pretty much just about done with her book on Audible. It's really short, surprisingly short, actually. And it comes out in the book that Lisa Marie Presley, as a child, was essayed by her mother's boyfriend. That's the allegation. Her mother's boyfriend at the time was an actor named Michael Edwards. Now, Lisa Marie Presley is deceased. Michael Edwards is still alive. He is, of course, denying all of this. But right off the bat, I'm like sitting here thinking, I'm sorry, but Lisa Marie Presley, I don't see her making this up for attention or what other reason. Like, why would you do that? It's hard enough to talk about when you have been the victim of some type of abuse or essay in that way, especially as a child. It's not the thing you want to lead with. So I'm not buying his denial there. And based off some of the things he said in a book he wrote about Elvis and Priscilla and his relationship with her, kind of backs up that he might have been at a minimum incredibly creepy, or at least the accusations coming out in her book that she shares that what he did, that it plays. It's on brand based on what he himself said earlier, even in a book about kind of sexualizing her. It's really disgusting. But let's take a look at one of these articles that came out. Rock legend's daughter said she was essayed at age 10. So talks about, comes out of her memoir, From Here to the Great Unknown, and how her daughter helped her finish writing this. And she writes that Edwards, who has denied her claims, would come into her room at night when she was a child, and as she grew older, would touch me and spank me, often to the point that she developed bruises. Edwards, 80, so today he's 80, dated Priscilla Presley, 79, for about 6 years in the late 1970s and the early 80s. The first time the assault happened, according to Presley, she was 10 and woke up to find him on his knees next to my bed, running his finger up my leg under the sheets. And if I moved, he stopped. So I moved. So she goes on to talk more about this. And it goes into detail in the book even more. Apparently he was in Mommy Dearest. You guys remember that movie? No wire hangers ever. He completely denies that this ever happened. What's in the book, but I'm not buying it. I completely believe her. I mean, it just sounds completely on brand, again, based on what he said earlier. So Power Lies to Paralyze that I'm aware of. He's not a Scientologist. If somebody knows anything different, do let me know. You can email me, Natalie@lifeafteroccult.com. Send any info about that. Or two, if you see anything, say something culty related, whether it's an article or a link. If you do send a video, can you send a timestamp saying at this timestamp, 25 minutes in, look for this. Or you can go ahead and send a clip if it's under a minute, or just a link to an article, and I will check it out. I don't think he's a Scientologist. Oh, it's incredibly disturbing. One thing that the book opened my eyes to, you guys, is how horrific her life was for so long. There's a 10-year period, and in the book, they say she left Scientology. They don't really get into the details, but after she left Scientology, and this was in Lisa Marie Presley's own words, after I left Scientology, so she had an addiction to opioids, and that got out of control. And it was out of control for about 10 years. And then at one point, she does in fact get it under control and seems to kind of be on top of that. And that is the point where her son, Ben, tragically unalives himself in his 20s. And there was an expectation that Lisa Marie Presley would use again, just given that the tragic circumstances. Not only is this her child, she had an incredibly close bond with Ben. And Riley Keough, her daughter, talks about in the book that they were surprised pleasantly and happily that she didn't relapse. And not only did Lisa Marie Presley not relapse, but she started holding grief groups in her own home. She wanted to help people. And this is another theme throughout the book, where when she is in a place of healing and she is in a good place, Lisa Marie Presley wants to help people. So she hosted these grief groups. She wanted to stay clean from drugs because it was a way of honoring her son. It's just, you got it. It's a good book. It's a good book. I wish they got way more into a lot of the Scientology stuff. Some of it is in there, but it's heartbreaking. It really opened my eyes as to what her life was actually like and how hard that must have been. I saw her when I was working at the restaurant at the Manor Hotel there at Celebrity Center when I was like 16 or 17, right before I was going into the Sea organization. And she was living there at the time in the Manor Hotel. She had lived there for a while as a minor. Her mom sent her to Scientology boarding schools, tried so many things, but never really, I guess from the viewpoint of a parent, did they get through to her or get her handled. Seems like she was constantly pushing back on a lot of things. And after now listening to the whole book, I'm like, I get it. Tina, have you seen the Church of Scientology? It's fire. I will check it out. I know they're here in the chat, but I'm not 100% positive if I did, but I will check it out. And remember, you can always email me clips, Natalie@lifeafteroccult, to make sure I do see something. There's so much going on right now. There's so much content about exposing Scientology. It is impossible to cover it all in the time that we have and even watch all of it. So definitely, if you guys see something, say something. I wanted to remind you again that if you go to SPTV.SPACE, there is a link to this in the description of my video. You can go and you can send a letter to your representative. This is in the United States. You can find your representative. There's a sample letter here you can use to ask them where they stand. Would they support a hearing looking into Scientology's tax exempt status? This is a really big election year. What you want to do is you want to CC House reps at SPTV.SPACE. Just follow the directions here. There's been 164 letters sent so far, and you can also track and see responses from those who have responded. And if you see a response already from a state that you live in, still reach out, because it's about the numbers. It's about that elected official feeling the pressure from multiple constituents to want them to look into Scientology's tax exempt status. It is a great place to start. It's something that you can do from home. So go to that link down below, follow the directions, do the CC so that it can be tracked. These are just the ones that are being tracked on the website. There's probably even more that people have sent and then just not let the site know, hey, I did this and whatnot. So we want to do that, especially right now with the election coming up. Good morning. All right, you guys. Yeah, right. The Holy Rogue. That's awesome. I agree. It completely is. Hey, Allie. Good morning. Scientology Up North, great reminder, and check out the Denmark list as well. So on the same site, there'll be a list for Denmark of who you can reach out to. And if I remember correctly, Miriam shared with us, Scientology Up North, that you don't have to live there to do it, that you can do it from anywhere in the world. So that's exciting too. So do make sure to check out the link for Denmark as well and reach out. Those are a couple of things, if you can do, would be absolutely amazing. And we just need to keep the pressure on elected officials to look into Scientology's tax exempt status. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to, it's a road to get there, to get them to do it. But it starts with a grassroots movement of just people coming together and going, hey, we want to know where you stand on this. Yep, Nisa, since it's an election year, is Scientology capable of donating money to both parties? Oh, I don't know. I mean, they're not supposed to donate and support a specific political party. So I would doubt it because of their tax exempt status. But I mean, let's be honest, Scientology does tell their people, has in the past, who to go vote for when it suits them. Let's see. Okay, Scientology Up North says, yes, everyone can write. So please, please do that. Check it out. Link down below, everybody. And again, make sure on my channel, when you hit subscribe, that you set the notification bell to all, because there's all kinds of crazy shenanigans going on, gonna come up. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, you guys, get out there. But first, hit that like button. Then get out there and have an amazing cult-free day.